Good morning. This video is about what is really valuable in our lives, so I'll just get the negative stuff out of the way quickly. As you know, I dislike Watchtower's handling of money. They can no longer charge for literature, so instead they've taken congregations' kingdom halls and imposed tariffs according to how many publishers they have in each congregation. They have so much money, they have had to set up an office in Ireland to deal with their billions. Is this the way the early Christians dealt with money? And there's a lesson from history. Solomon's temple, it appears, is the most impressive building ever made. Its value in today's money is somewhere in the region of 300 billion, give or take a billion or two. This picture comes courtesy of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, depicting the inside of Solomon's temple. Solomon covered everything in gold, even the floor. And as it says in 1 Kings chapter 7 and verses 48 onwards, he made the golden altar, the golden table, the lampstands of pure gold, 10 of them, the flowers, the lamps, the tongs of gold, cups, snuffers, basins, dishes for incense. Everything was of pure gold. We know that gold is valuable in money, but is it useful? Here it is. I'm sorry, this is the only periodic table I've got. Gold there is in the same group as copper and silver, and next to platinum and mercury. Now, copper we know is very useful because, of course, you can make electric wire out of it and all sorts of things. Gold is too soft, but it's valued because it's pretty. So what happened to the gold in Solomon's temple? Well, we know that towards the end of his life, Solomon did some very silly things. He imposed huge taxes on the Israelites. He had to support 1,000 wives. But worse than that, he turned to false gods. Now, that was a really silly thing to do because he valued his wives over his relationship with God. So his son Rehoboam takes over when Solomon dies, and this is what happened because Rehoboam also followed badly in the way of false gods. And it says in 1 Kings chapter 14 and verse 25, in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, the king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. He took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. He took away everything. He also took away the shields of gold that Solomon had made. So around about 35 years after the temple had been built, all those valuables were gone because they didn't value their relationship with God. More than that, gold and other things were more valuable. So how did the early Christians deal with money? In Acts chapter 2 and verse 44, it says that all who believed were together and had all things in common, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. They didn't collect money to build the apostles' luxury houses. No, they shared their possessions to give to the poor. Now, we know that they didn't sell their absolute essentials because in Acts chapter 12 and verse 12, it says that when Peter was released from prison, he went to the house of Mary, that was Mark's mother. This was in Jerusalem. In the year 70, the Romans came along and destroyed the whole of Jerusalem. So the disciples would have lost everything anyway. So they did well to sell it, to share with those who had nothing. But what about us today? In Hebrews 10 and verse 34, it said about those early Christians, they joyfully accepted the plundering of their property, since they knew that they had a better possession and an abiding one. Therefore, Paul says, do not throw away your confidence, which has a great reward. You have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. Now, a lot of us have lost our possessions, our homes, everything, even our health. So it says here that we need to joyfully accept that. Now, that might be a little bit difficult to do, but we'll try. But it said the reason being that we have a better possession and an abiding one that's coming. So we look forward to that time when everything will be given back to us, and it'll be far better than anything that we have today. So we look forward to that time. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.